I would say that's diversify. Time and time again, I see people with concentrated positions, be it through their own employment or through the love of one particular stock. And I think nothing can arm you better in relation to investing than having a diversified portfolio of wealth.
The best tip that I've ever received is, it's part of the modules is about diversifying. It's really important to not have all your eggs in one basket, as I know we said. Definitely diversify is key.
I would always say to people, don't get greedy, because really when you can see your investment, and you're all going to be making loads of money, but when you can see your money growing, sometimes it's good to take your initial investment off the table and let the rest grow. So I would always say to people, don't get greedy, have a plan and know your risk tolerance.
I think it's quite simple. So diversify and be able to stick to the plan. I think those to me are the two areas that are key to success.
I think a really important point from the masterclass is to set up a pension if you don't already have one. And if you do have one, to keep on top of it, make sure you're reviewing it, because it really is going to be the most important financial asset in your future, aside from your property.
I think it's just the core principles of, diversification and risk management, not putting all your eggs in one basket. So looking for a well-diversified portfolio that can, compound over time.
I'd love if members now just felt a little bit more comfortable that they can start investing into markets and actually using some of your own money to dip your toe in. I think that's the best way to learn. And I think you can apply the principles, start slow, get comfortable and just go from there.
I think I'd like them to really have the confidence to make investment decisions for themselves and not to be too scared. Again, think about your plan, think about what you want to achieve, and also know that there are people in the background like ourselves who are more than willing to help you if you're struggling. So I'd like people to take that away with them. So we're only a phone call away, so pick up the phone if you are struggling.
The importance of financial planning and managing your own financial affairs and making sure that you sit down and look at everything that you've got in the context of financial assets and arming yourself for the future by doing that holistic review of your affairs.
I think taking a step back and remembering that you have time. It's easy to think that it's a Herculean task, but small changes today can make big differences in the future. Thinking of that analogy of a year from now, you'll look back on what you're doing today. Also then, in light of what you learned in your modules, small diversified portfolios can really compound over time, and the same thing applies for small changes today can have big and really powerful impacts in the future.
It's really important, first of all, I mentioned it previously, just to have the confidence, first of all, to know really what you want, to make a plan, to stick to it, to have an end goal. So if you have an end goal, all your investment decisions will lead you to actually what you want to achieve out of it. So I would say to women who are kicking off investing for the first time, have a goal, make sure you know what that goal is, and then every decision that you make will be towards that end game, if you like.
Well, the Gloss Investment Club is an invaluable place to start, and certainly since the introduction of the club back in 2021, we've seen the numbers of investment club members grow significantly over the course of the last number of years. So without doubt, it's the best place to start and the best place to arm yourself with the information you need to take control of your financial affairs.
To me, I think knowledge is power. So just knowing the assets that you have, where you're trying to get to, and if there's any gaps in how you get there. And I think, again, to me, doing a simple financial plan is a really powerful way to understand your finances, understand where you are, have an advisor identify any potential gaps and explain to you how you can actually get around those gaps and get to where you want to be.
Building up your confidence is absolutely crucial. Taking part in something like the Masterclass is really important because it gives you a bit of an insight and you can go away then and do your own research. And yeah, having the confidence to take control is really important.
I have been working in finance a very, very long time, so there must be something good in it. I suppose it's an environment that's changing all the time. So you've got your markets changing, your clients changing, your interest rates changing. So it's an environment that changes consistently. So if you are somebody who really likes that kind of change and dynamic and having all of that going on, I think that's probably why I like working in finance.
I think for me it's twofold. So one, like it's an industry where everything is always evolving and always changing. So from a developmental point of view, there's loads to learn. But I think, we're also making a pretty meaningful difference in our clients' financial future. And I think to me, that's quite rewarding. So whether it's advising someone on, building their pension pot that's going to sustain them into the future, advising clients after they've maybe sold a family business, or advising on kind of intergenerational wealth. So it's twofold. It's the always evolving and then also making a meaningful difference.
I would say working with people, we meet a very diverse range of people with a lot of different financial scenarios for us to work through. So it's quite dynamic. It's very interesting for us. And then at the end of the day, you're helping someone to achieve their financial goals.
The variety of the work, I would say, the knowledge gained as well in dealing with all different types of scenarios and situations, and not just in my own specialism, which is tax.
I think it's watching the markets. They're always moving, so this always gives you an opportunity on a day-to-day basis, both to learn more, challenge your thinking, and also it means that investment opportunities are always presenting themselves.
So if I go back a little bit to 2008, I set up my own business. So I worked as a partner in an accountancy practice and set up a wealth management business. And at the end of 2008, I got my MiFID license from the central bank. So I think that was really rewarding because it took a long, long time, a lot of to and froing to get it. And then when I did get it, I realised that I could run a business. I could run it the way I wanted to. And I set up a business to run then. And actually that business was really successful. It's still very successful. In fact, the people have moved here to Goodbody and it's run through Goodbody today. So yeah, I think that was probably the most rewarding time.
I think that's probably about helping people that are in maybe not so fortunate positions, such as what we call the 3Ds, for example, death, disease and divorce, and actually dealing with people's complex financial affairs in those particular scenarios and being able to show them the benefits of having good financial advice during those critical life moments.
So from a career perspective, we see a lot of women in accountancy and various other financial services roles. And I always despair when people, or women in particular, don't apply for the roles that we actually put out there. So I think, have the confidence to get up there and get out there and go for these roles. If we put out a role, we see lots of men applying for them. They might only have one or two of the attributes that we're actually looking for. And what we tend to see is women have 3 or 4 of them and they still don't apply. So I think for women, this is a really good career. You actually have a lot of flexibility, particularly later in your career. And now with kind of flexible working environments, it's a role that people can do, and women are actually very personable. So I'd really like women to consider a career in finance. It's a very rewarding career.